Good Friday would not be the same without me talking, because it's a comeback for me on Good Friday. So I'm here, today, as you all know, till the about 2:30. Then we're going to cross to the AFL. But so pleased that on Good Friday, my good friend Dr. Vincent has taken time out to have a chat about Easter. Vincent, have I got you on the phone?
Yes, it's me again, and it's good to be back. Thank you for having me on again.
No, I always enjoy talking to you. Now, it's Easter time, Vincent.
It is.
It's the time to go out, eat till you burst, chocolate all over the place. Is that a good health idea?
Well, I always say to you and to our listeners is that there is no one thing that will make you healthy, and there is no one thing that will make you sick or ruin your diet or your healthy routine. So learning from the experience that I had during Christmas, I want to make it very, very clear. I'm not here to cancel Easter Bunny. We love the Easter Bunny.
There we go. Yes.
What I'm trying to say.
Listeners have loved you now. That's great, because there was a bit of controversy around Christmas, which we won't mention again, people. Say yes.
No. But however, what I'm trying to say here, and this is a great place to communicate this message, because you and I both agree that it is not only about physical health, but also about emotional and mental health.
Exactly.
This is the reason why we never preach, we never talk, we never ask people to limit themselves or to deprive themselves from all the good things in life, including chocolate. But there are tricks and tips that I can share with you and our listeners at home to make sure that we don't overdo it. Because with the abundance of temptation filling the supermarket shelves, it can be really easy to fall into that unhealthy diet that will roll over beyond Easter. So just keep that in mind, that a little bit of indulgence, a little bit of treats and chocolate this weekend is okay, as long as we know that this is a one-off thing, and come Monday, we go back to our healthy diet, go back to your exercise, go back to eat your vegetables, and making sure that you do your meal prep so that you don't have that temptation when you go out and do your shopping, and before you know it, you are munching on unhealthy treats.
It always makes me laugh, Vincent, when you go into supermarkets on the Thursday before Easter, and it's like there'll be no more food ever, people, so they fill up on everything, don't they? It's literally, baskets are overflowing. Retailers will be loving it. I understand all of that.
It's good for the nation's economy, but I used to do that too, and then people around me, and goodness, reminded me that it's only one day, Vincent.
It's one day.
Like the shop will reopen again.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, and worst come to worst, there's always Uber Eats.
Exactly right.
Which we're not saying that you should get it.
No.
But you know, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes it plays trickery to our mind that we need to get everything and we need to double the amount. And this is the thing that I'm trying to communicate with people, that it is not about what you eat. Sometimes it's also about the volume, the quantity.
It is the quantity. It is the quantity. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that I want to talk about today to help minimize the risk of you overeating is to have a healthy breakfast. I always say that eggs probably are the best food that you can have for breakfast.
So we can have chocolate eggs for breakfast.
I knew you were going to say that. What I'm talking about is eggs, as in like the eggs that are packed with protein. So the reason why having a protein-rich breakfast, especially on the Easter weekend or during festivity, is to give you satiety. It helps you to feel full longer. And you know that as much as hunger is a physical thing, it is also a mental thing.
Yeah.
So when you start off your day with good breakfast, something that will give you long-lasting energy and fullness, you're less likely to munch throughout the day. And that's very important, because you need to exercise. It helps you to exercise a little bit of portion control throughout the day.
Because portion control is so hard for some people, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when it comes to chocolate. But not all chocolates are created the same. Some chocolates are better, I think, in theory, because the high percentage of cocoa, which is the antioxidant-rich part of chocolate, So you might be finding that some chocolates have 70%, 50%, or none at all. For example, white chocolate, which is not real chocolate. But if you're going to indulge with chocolate, probably choose a high percentage cocoa more than the white chocolate, for example, because cocoa has a very high antioxidant called flavonoid. So in theory, it helps your body to be rich in antioxidant to help your cellular health. Whether or not it's going to make you a superman or superwoman, that's another debate. However, I do believe that dark chocolate is somewhat healthier compared to the sweeter version of chocolate.
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, we've seen studies where supposedly it's good for your heart. Well, you'd have to eat it in a small quantity. I'd say that'd be the first one. But, we know that dark chocolate is better than the, like the milk chocolate.
Yeah,
and as you said before, white chocolate, you said it's not really a chocolate.
No, it's a sugary compound. And I think this is also one of the concern that we have around festivities. So it's not only about the portion, but also the sugar content, because we know that when your sugar intake, especially for kids or older people, when your sugar intake is very high in a very short amount of time, it really messes up with your insulin response. And what happens is that when that blood sugar level crashes, you can have a headache, you can have dizziness, or in some cases it makes you even hungrier.
Yeah.
And it leads you to make a not so good or so smart decision when it comes to your diet.
And that's a very interesting point that you've just brought up about that, because so many people stop for that mid-afternoon snack and grab that chocolate bar, but it doesn't really do any. It's a psychological thing more than anything, isn't it?
It is. And what's worse, I think, is that because of the size, mini size, or whatever that you call the chocolate bar or candy bar to make yourself feel better, even though it's a mini size or small size or a truffle size, it actually is very dense in calories. One of them can contain ranging somewhat between 200 to 250 calories. And that is, in a lot of cases, half of your lunch or even almost your entire breakfast,
Yeah.
But you don't actually feel that it's filling you up. And what's worse, like I said before, it may actually lead you to eat more. So when you're on a healthy diet or a healthy routine, 250 calories, empty calories, can actually really ruin that healthy portion of your day.
And, when we combine what we eat with how we exercise, sometimes that's where people can go a bit wrong, isn't it? Because I was at the gym and there's a guy there saying, I'm still struggling with my weight. I'm not struggling with my weight, people, but this guy was saying he's struggling with his weight. And, he's saying that in the morning he's eating, at night, 4 bowls of pasta.
Yeah, I think sadly a lot of people they get a wrong information from TikTok or Instagram or influencers without any scientific backup, because you can't exercise your way out of unhealthy diet.
No.
So I learned something that is actually really wise. Someone told me that exercise is a celebration of what your body can do. It's not a punishment of what you ate. So if we use that mindset, not only it helps us with balancing our calories, it also helps us to be more motivated and to be more happier when we are doing our exercise, because believe me, it makes a whole world of difference when you go to the gym or when you go and do some sports and exercise and not thinking it as a chore. Because when you think it as a chore, not only you dread doing that, your chance of sticking to the routine is actually significantly lower. And, you don't want that, because you can't exercise yourself out of unhealthy daily habits. So exercise is not a replacement of healthy diet.
And you should enjoy, you should find something to enjoy in exercise. And people go, I can't find anything, whether it's you walk, you play, tennis, and it doesn't matter. I mean, we've got a guy in Adelaide in his 90s now, still running around playing tennis on the court. Is a great player. So, it's about finding something that you enjoy. And, I've been on that, as, listeners know now, I've been on, going to the gym regularly now for about 7 months. And I go for between 6 and 7 sessions a week. But it's something I get up in the morning and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, and it's really important, which is why you have to make exercise fun. You have to fit this exercise session into your life, not the other way around. For example, the research have shown that older people, and when I say older, I think if I'm not mistaken, the age group is 45 to 65. When they get a dog, it actually makes them healthier because guess what? Dogs need walking.
That's right.
And when you go out, not only you keep your cardiovascular health up, you are also, be out in the open and you get a healthy exposure to sunlight, and that actually increases your body's production of vitamin D. And it is a whole cycle. It is a complete regime that makes you healthy, and that goes to even strengthening the notion that exercise is not a replacement of all these healthy things that you do in your life.
And, just we were talking about that, I pass a couple on because I basically go, when I go to the gym's only 700 metres away from me. So I'm in a side street, I can go walk down there. But there's a couple that I see probably 3 times a week, and they're always out for a walk, and, we say hello every morning. And the bloke carries a cup of coffee around with him in the morning. He's quite happy to go look and do that, but they're getting out and doing something. And I think that's one of the great things, because we talk about the lack of vitamin D, and it's one thing I do get tested in a blood test on there, but you do have to get out in the sun, people, and make sure you put sunscreen on. But vitamin D is a very important compound in our body makeup, isn't it, Vincent?
That's correct, because not only it helps in your brain function, your mood, your emotional well-being, it is also the key to your body absorbing calcium. So people who are concerned about their bone density, about their mobility, their structure, their frame, their overall body and posture, a lot of times their brain goes directly to calcium. However, your body cannot absorb calcium without the help of vitamin D. So it's very important.
And, if over Easter, we shouldn't be overeating. We should be having small, regular, nutritious meals, shouldn't we?
I think that is a very good trick to make sure that we don't overeat, because it takes around 10 to 15 minutes for our brain to signal the rest of our body and say that, no, that's enough. There's enough sugar. I'm full. I'm satisfied. But also, as with all these festivities, I think that's a great time for us to connect with people around us, friends, families. So by having smaller portion, you actually spend time and actually focusing on the chats around the table, or maybe you're visiting people, maybe you have some events or festivities that you go to and visit your friends and family that you don't normally see when you're busy. It's a long weekend. So I think that we should make the most out of it. Perhaps organize an egg hunt. I think we did that. I think we did a virtual one during the lockdown, and it was actually really fun. But if you can do a real one now that we are not, we can go out and about. It also helps you to up your step count, which is very important, because more and more now we understand that it is more important to make sure that you move a lot, so your step counts, rather than restricting your calorie.
And when you organise an egg hunt for the kids, people, don't make it too easy for them. Hide them in different, don't just stick them out on the lawn and say we've done an egg hunt. Hide the things. It's what it's all about. Put some
effort to it.
Yeah, put some effort in. Harden up, people. Good heavens.
But to close off all of these interesting tricks and tips to make sure that you have a healthier version of Easter, you also have to keep in mind that it's okay to enjoy the treat.
That's right.
Some treats is okay, because feeling guilty about what you eat can actually make it worse because you're punishing yourself mentally and emotionally. And remember, one weekend is not going to derail your healthy routine. What's more important is what you do come Monday and come Tuesday, and make sure that you go back to this healthy routine, because that is what you do every day out of this, aside from this Easter weekend, is more important than what you're actually doing over the weekend.
Exactly right. Where can we find out more about you, Vincent?
You can go to my website. It's very easy, appleaday.com.au. But you can also find us in the aisles of Coles and Woolworths. Remember, guys, we are 100% Australian made and Australian grown. So when you're supporting our company and our products, not only you're supporting your health, but you're also supporting Australian apple farmers.
Which is great. Vincent, we will talk soon here on 5AA. You have a good rest of Easter.
Thank you so much, and happy Easter, everyone.